Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a concept that honestly sounds almost impossible at first glance. We're talking about taking the chaotic, totally unpredictable mess of human existence and applying rigorous structural engineering to it. I mean, have you ever wished your life just came with an instruction manual to help you navigate all the madness? Well, we are going to explore the Kann systems model, or CYSM. It's a truly fascinating framework that asks a profound question. Can we actually engineer life's chaos to design our own survival? I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this architectural marvel of life management. Let's get into it.
To really understand the sheer scale of what we're looking at, we kind of have to start with the 20th century philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. He famously declared, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent." See, he believed the whole purpose of philosophy was to let the fly out of the fly bottle, basically to free us from the confusion of language. For him, the ultimate meaning of life was an epistemological boundary, meaning there's a hard limit on what we can actually know, logic out, or even say. It was something mystical, something words simply couldn't touch. So, his ultimate answer? Silence.
But this brings us to the central paradox of our explainer today. If the profound meaning of life is, as he said, unspeakable, how do you mathematically engineer it? Right? How on earth do you take rigid deterministic engineering parameters and use them to unlock profound existential freedom? It sounds like a total contradiction, but as you'll see in just a moment, it's actually a highly functional design.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with engineering the unspeakable. Dive right into the CYSM model. Explore the math of stability. Look at life architecture. Analyze the infinite game. And finally, get to freedom via discipline.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Engineering the Unspeakable.
Let's dive into this by looking at how advanced AI models like DeepSeek analyze the system. When these models reviewed the framework, they drew a really brilliant contrast. Where Wittgenstein drew a boundary of silence around the mysteries of life, CYSM actually provides an engineering response of action. It doesn't just sit in silence. Instead, in a highly predictable, speakable engineering world, CYSM actively builds a space where the unspeakable meaning of life can be experienced and realized through concrete action.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Kann systems model.
So what exactly is it? Well, crafted by Lin Kann after 4 decades of technical experience and intense reflective practice, CYSM stands for the Kann systems model. It's defined as a comprehensive framework that integrates engineering logic, life philosophy, and systems thinking. But here is the really key takeaway. It doesn't just philosophize about abstract ideas. No, it actively treats life as a controllable, optimizable system operating under specific constraints. Looking at this massive architectural map, you can just see the sheer scale of the system. It's like a giant puzzle. Notice how signal recognition, time amplification, capital management, and health optimization all feed into one single unified goal: system stability. It shows how a structured architecture allows us to literally escape the daily entropy of life. It's a beautifully complex map for sure, but at its heart, it relies on a surprisingly simple logic.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mathematics of stability.
We're transitioning from high philosophy into hard mathematics here, because in CYSM, survival and stability are absolutely not left to chance. The crucial point really comes down to this foundational equation. Certainty is a function of signal strength and processing time. Let me repeat that because it's a game changer. Stability is not an accident. It is the calculated outcome of sustained signal recognition amplified by time.
And this brilliantly illustrates that concept in action. Looking at the certainty function diagram, we see how life events, or signals, pass through system processing over time. These deterministic modules show us that by continuously processing clear signals, you naturally achieve sustainable long-term outcomes. Think about it like investment stability in your finances, building resilient health systems for your physical body, and ultimately reaching total life autonomy.
Now, time is given immense respect in this model. It isn't just a passive measure of days passing by on a calendar. As this timeline shows, an initial signal goes through time calibration, eventually resulting in structural certainty. Time is an active amplifier. It is the absolute stabilizer for the signals we choose to follow.
Okay, Section 4, Building Life System Architecture.
We are now moving into the highly practical core of the explainer. We've talked about massive philosophical boundaries and systemic equations, but CYSM alternatingly shifts from these massive ideas down to highly granular, everyday details. Look at these interconnected layers. On one side, we have the health stability equation, where nutrition, exercise, and rest are inputs that get processed and monitored over time. And on the other side, we see the broader life system architecture, integrating time, capital, and health. The logic here is simple but profound. Your biological and financial infrastructure must be actively maintained to prevent the dangerous accumulation of failures.
And how is that maintenance actually done? Through highly specific daily constraints. We're talking things like the 3+20 boiled egg method, strictly maintaining an SGD 667 diet control ledger, or swimming exactly 12 laps, no more, no less. It sounds almost obsessively mundane, right? But these incredibly mundane, repetitive routines are exactly the speakable engineering parameters we mentioned earlier. By locking down these tiny, controllable variables, you build an impenetrable defensive fortress around your life.
Let's pivot to Section 5, AI on the infinite game.
Let's look at external validation for a second. When we fed this comprehensive white paper to top-tier AI models to see how they interpreted the end game of this rigid design, the Google Gemini analysis provided a remarkably sharp insight. It noted that CYSM elevates life management to an ontological height. In other words, you aren't just managing your time or tweaking your to-do list, you are defining the very nature of your existence. It realized this isn't just a glorified self-help routine, it's a literal engineering clarification of life systems.
And the DeepSeek analysis framed this perfectly using Simon Sinek's concept of the finite versus the infinite game. You see, traditional engineering plays a finite game. It pursues performance, efficiency, and resources, which can honestly often be pretty fragile. But the CISM life system, it plays the infinite game. It designs for survival. Performance is just a byproduct. The true goal is ensuring you stay in the game forever by maintaining stability.
Now, this system's logic applies to everything, not just individuals. This diagram of the China-US system interaction serves as a macro-level example of cross-domain observability. When you have misaligned systems, whether that's in economics, technology, or ideology, it inevitably results in persistent tension. Whether you are dealing with global superpowers or just your own personal finances, the formula remains exactly the same. Structural tension requires objective calibration and feedback to prevent strategic instability. Finally, bringing it all home with Section 6, freedom through systemic discipline.
So what is the holy grail of this entire methodology? If you actually follow these parameters, what do you get out of it? Well, the model calls it exemption power. It's defined as complete autonomy from external dependencies and unpredictable systems. It means you have built enough buffers in your health, your capital, and your time that the chaos of the outside world simply cannot force your hand. Notice how stability physically transforms choice into freedom here. When a system is unstable, you're driven by immediate gratification, living for the moment, and constantly borrowing against your future. But when the system is stable, enjoyment flows naturally. You unlock the freedom to choose, you embrace delayed gratification, and you achieve sustainable growth. It proves, without a doubt, that sustained awareness is infinitely superior to inaction.
Which leaves us with this one crucial question to reflect on as we wrap up. In your own life, are you blindly pursuing fragile performance, chasing metrics and instant wins that could literally collapse tomorrow? Or are you meticulously designing your survival? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Kang-Yan systems model. Take these blueprints, look at your own daily routines, and ask yourself, what kind of system are you truly building?